Let's say in a secular context, can you make a compelling reason why a man should get married?
Happiness stems from connections you make, but you said you could date them without marriage. So
Yep. Yeah.
I have nothing to say against that.
Anything, Katie?
I don't really have a compelling argument for that. I disagreed because I kind of think, like, legally, marriage is shit for both people, the man and the woman.
Is it? How much? Just curious. How much do you make? Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I'll say $100K.
Okay. Well, you said minimum yearly income. You want a man to make $200K, so he's out earning you by two times. He's making $100K more than you. If you guys were married for a period of time, I don't know if you'd want to maybe take work. You said you wanted to stop working, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. If no, I don't.
So
I
how
just
would you
meant
fare?
if I wasn't, like, if I was with somebody who didn't want me to work and that was the decision, I would want them to make 200. But if I had to work, or we made the decision that I would also be working, then I would be able to cut that.
But in this situation, assuming you did find a guy who could have you stop working, in what way would you fare worse than him in the event of a divorce?
I think that women go through a lot of different things in marriages than men. But I worked in family law, and I watched a lot of women suffer through divorce. So
You mean
it's
like
not
their
only-
feelings?
I mean, they can suffer financially too. You using
Sure.
me specifically in my income, but a lot of women still contribute income to their marriages,
Yeah.
make a lot of sacrifices within marriage, and then
Well,
when they go through a divorce, can also get completely screwed.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's certainly,
Men can
there's-
protect their assets and money in lots
Good.
of ways.
But
So
I
doesn't necessarily mean because you
Look-
marry her, she's gonna take you to the cleaners for all your money if you guys have to
But
divorce.
if she stops working and work like a stay-at-home mom for like 10 years, if
yeah.
they divorce,
She
then
has no money.
she has no money, and it's difficult for her to get a job because she hasn't been practicing for like 10
I mean,
years.
but if the guy's providing everything, then if we just rewind time, she basically goes to where she was. Although most realistically, she's probably better off. So, what?
Get off with what?
I mean, you're saying so what was she was just homeless? All women are just homeless before they meet their partners?
No,
No, she's not
She has an
homeless.
education, but if she doesn't work for 10 years and was to apply for the same job, she has no experience
You think
for like
they're
10
just
years.
a woman who hasn't been working for 10 years is just like perpetually fucked? Like they can't just like either go back to school, or they just lie on their resume, or they just say, yeah, I was married and now I'm not looking for a job. Go back to whatever the fuck they were doing before.
Yeah, but it's just difficult. If you're a software engineer and hasn't been working for like 10 years,
Okay.
if you apply for a software engineer job, you don't have the experience for the 10 years you missed being
You're
like
still a software
stay-at-home.
engineer, and your income's probably, I mean, you'll have to maybe get caught up on recent developments in that career field, but I mean, you're probably still going to be doing pretty okay. Software engineers are, my understanding, compensated fairly well. In this case, you're saying she took time off work, which indicates to me that in this scenario, the man was making enough money to support both of them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been together for 10 years. Alimony law kicks in. So she's going to get money from the divorce.
What is an alimony?
The man's going to have to pay her money post-divorce, and she's going to get 50% of all the money. Well, it depends exactly how it works out, but she gets 50% of everything that was made during the marriage.
I don't think we have that in Denmark.
I don't know. The laws in Denmark, I would assume there's some similarities, maybe not exact, but I'll grant to you that if the woman's the breadwinner, she can also get fucked. The only difference is that one, there's a bias in the court system, and then two, men are much less likely to go after, even if the woman was the breadwinner, men are much less likely to like go after resources in the same way that women do. It happens, but they're much less likely to do it. More men are willing, even if the woman earned more than him, just walk away. Men are way more willing to do that than the reverse. For y'all, you're like, I'm going to get what I'm owed because you feel entitled to it. Any other? A couple other of you disagreed on this. Riley, marriage is a bad deal for men. Anything from you, Riley?
I mean, if you're looking at it from the point of view of like,
Into the mic, please.
the woman is giving you everything that you want out of the relationship, and she's simply asking you for this sense of like, having a marriage will give me a sense of security, and yes, I'm okay to sign a prenup. I think giving her that sense of security makes your life a lot more easier in a whole of the whole aspect of it.
I mean, it's a bit solipsistic. Why can't I just say, us not getting married gives me security? Now we're at a deadlock. Who gets the security, you or me?
I mean, I feel like obviously some sort of compromise would have to happen, but at the end
So
of the
the compromise is prenup?
I mean, yeah, that's what I would say.
And you'd be fine signing a prenup?
Yeah.
It is a compromise, but the issue with prenuptial agreements is, and you're paralegal, right? Did you do family law stuff?
Yeah,
Perhaps
in the beginning of my school program, I worked
You're
at
too far from the mic, miss.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I worked at a family law office for like almost 2 years in the beginning of my program. Yeah.
Okay. Could you, I don't know if you have the intel on this, but prenups can only deal with assets of the parties prior to the marriage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like you can't say, a woman cannot sign a prenup that said, the man keeps 100% of everything he owned prior to entering the marriage, and every single thing that he earns during the marriage remains his, and if in the event of a divorce, you get nothing. Like, I don't think a prenup can do that. Is that correct?
I'm not going to say outright, but I think you can. I think that you can protect certain things going forward once you are in the marriage. Sorry, it's a habit, but I can't speak. I'm not going to speak on that from an attorney standpoint.
Oh, all right. Okay. Odd groups go to the left, even groups go to the right. That means 1, 3, 5, 7 left, 2, 4, 6, 8 right. 7 and 8 are whelp groups. Okay, listen the fuck up. You're going to DPS very, very slowly.
That's a fucking 50 DKP minus! What the fuck was that shit? Fuck!
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, Trash Panda. Okay. Kayla, did you have anything? Kyla, my bad.
You're good. I get it all the time. I just believe, I'm going to sound like Charlie Kirk here, but I believe in the core and traditional values of being an American. I believe that you should get married, have a family, and teach them the same values and hope the same for them. And also being a Christian, I believe that, that is really important to get married and have that covenant between you and the person you're supposed to be with.
Okay. Well, I have not been convinced.
I did have a small thought
Sure.
on it. And this is just like you said, giving you an argument, right? And so do you feel as a man that you want to be a provider for your partner? You expect her to bow, right?
Yeah.
So my perspective on this, and this is just a thought that I've had sitting here this evening, but the ultimate form of protection for a woman is getting married. And so if you are trying to be that provider and protector for her, then you would marry her.
Also, a lot of women.
So basically, in terms of what I get, she likes me more. Like that's the benefit for me is like
No, it's your personal sense of fulfillment.
I placate to her desires. That's what I get.
No, I'm saying to be in line with your views of wanting to be a provider and a protector, the best way to
Why
do
do I need
that.
to be married to do that?
Because being married offers additional protections to your partner.
To her.
Correct. So
Yeah.
if you want to be a provider and a protector
But
to your partner.
yeah,
then
but
you would
also
marry her.
like for example, to protect my woman from not getting a splinter, I'm not gonna cut off my arm. So the kind of protection you're talking about, protection that is offered, I suppose, to women through marriage is not life and limb.
Well, I mean, think about
Plenty of women get divorced, and there is no safety concerns. So the protection aspect is kind of, to me, not really compelling. And then the providing aspect, I can still provide absent marriage. So it's not compelling either.
So maybe my definition of protection is a little different, but let's say you are in a long-term monogamous relationship, but you're not married and you both have assets, whether equal or not, and something happens to you, she is not your next of kin and therefore cannot receive any of the benefits. So if you guys have been living in a house that you own, that she's not on, but she's been cleaning it, taking care of it, hosting family meals, and now she's put out because, there's a tragedy and you guys didn't have any sort of living will in place.
Sure, I could. So you're saying in the event of a marriage, in the event of an untimely death, she would get my estate basically. If we didn't have kids, it would go to her.
Even just to protect your children, right? Like you can set up things so that even in a monogamous, non-marital relationship, you can set up protections for that person that is mothering your children. And so...
Well, that's the point I was about to make. I don't need marriage I could just sign a will that says, this is going to them.
I mean, that's no different than doing a prenup though, right? Like, and still getting married, as opposed to doing like a living will where she gets it if something happens. So it's kind of like
look,
the
if
same
it was,
side of the same.
if I was dating a woman and I made the determination that like upon my death, this is the person that I wanted my assets to go to, I could sign a contract that allowed that to happen. But if we're married and then we get divorced, then bad financial situation.
I mean, I'm with a prenup. I think everyone should sign one, honestly.
Yeah, but it's still not really compelling to me. Also, I'm going to be
All I'm
dead,
saying is
so-
that for you as a man, if you feel like you want to be the protector, then marriage would be a way to protect your partner. May not
Right,
be
but I could sign a contract that just says, here's my will, you get upon my death, you get my assets or whatever. So I don't need marriage to get that or to provide that.
just like you're asking a woman for a prenup. Like it's just paperwork documentation. So
But I don't need marriage to do that.
To do what? To have children?
No.
Or-
I'm literally responding to what you just said. I don't need marriage. You said in the event of your untimely death, in order to ensure that if it's your desire for your assets, whatever, to go to your wife instead of perhaps somewhere less desirable, I can just have a will. I don't need marriage.
I guess my position is coming from those types of conversations, like what happens after, don't typically occur unless you're in a marital relationship. Like what happens to your partner after they pass away is not a conversation that people typically get into, even at our age. And so,
But I don't need marriage in order to have that.
You don't, but
question-
I think it's like an extra level of security and safety for both parts.
the question that you asked was why, like what argument would we give you to get married? My response to that is if you define yourself as a protector and a provider, marriage is the ultimate protection that you can provide to your partner.
Yeah, it's not compelling whatsoever. It's not compelling. You guys it's like you always think about what's best for you.
I don't think there is an answer to this.
Why should men, what's the benefit to me?
If
None.
he earns more.
So the only scenario is she earns more. That's the only benefit.
Go find yourself a millionaire woman.
All right. Well,
Brian.
okay. I'm going to move it on then.